Hey, everybody, and welcome to the 14th episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. I go by AT. I go by Dre Theo. I go by Dre. And I probably got some more nicknames yet to come. But welcome. Welcome to the show, Trippin with Theobold. The show for you new listeners, Trippin with Theobold is it's a podcast, a show, where I trip in thought and I trip in speech. I literally trip in speech. I grew up with a speech impediment, and I had to learn how to work with it. And so I have, so if I mess up and have a bloop bloop, I don't edit. I just say, come on, Dre. Come on, get it together. And also I trip figuratively in thought, right? Like I have a lot of crazy ideas, you know what I'm saying? So hence the name Trippin with Theobold. Before we go any further, please mash up that like button, hit the subscribe button. Do all that fun stuff, man. If you wanna chime in the comment section, say whatever you want to say. I don't have that filter stuff in my comments, so if you want to say some foul stuff, say whatever you want to say. I don't care. Because we vibing right now, but I got to do this one thing right quick. I learned this from Kwame Brown's channel. So basically I didn't notice, but whenever you post a video, there's a 2-minute filter in the video, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my timer down for 2 minutes. I'm going to set this joint down for 2 minutes. And then if you don't cuss within those 2 minutes, like your video I might get like 5 more likes, because I'm the only one watching my videos right now and shit, so I just cuss, damn. But it's already been 2 minutes, so I'm good. It's 2 minutes and 24 seconds, so there's no need for this timer. So, but next week I'm going to do it next week. Next week I'm going to have my timer set, and when the 2-minute mark goes off, I'm going to make sure I keep it clean, don't say anything messed up, and then just get real with it. All right, so here we are, Trippin with Theobold. Gave y'all the intro, gave y'all the facts. So one thing I started doing in my show recently is I like to plug other people's stuff. I like to plug things, because I like to shop. I like to spend. I like to buy things that I like. Like I have my own style. I have my own trends, I guess, and this is what I do. So let me go ahead and just start plugging stuff, man. So first thing I want to plug is White Claw. I don't know if I can plug alcohol, but fuck it. This is like not really alcohol, but it is. White Claw, man. Like I don't drink beer no more, man, because beer makes me feel bloated, and has too many calories, and I don't want to drink like strong stuff during the week, like I don't want to be sipping on wine. I don't want to be doing any mixing of drinks midweek, White Claw is something that you can, it's good. It's like a seltzer water, but it got a little kick to it, it's not strong. But my favorite flavor of the White Claws is the Ruby Grapefruit. And these Ruby Grapefruits have been hard to find. These things have been very hard to find. So luckily I went to a corner liquor store or whatever, and I was able to find, this Ruby joint. I don't know why my levels are so high. Let me try something right quick. I'm not going to mess with it because I'm already recording. So whatever comes out, comes out. But the Ruby Red, the Ruby Grapefruit, this is my official flavor. You know what? I shouldn't even be tripping, because shit, they got drink champs on YouTube. They got drink champs. They got people that smoke cigars and stuff on. Man, whatever. If they want to pull my shit down, they can pull my shit down. I don't care. That's the thing in life. You got to stop caring about what other people think. You just got to kind of stay true to yourself, and that to me is a lost art in society, man. Is just staying true to yourself. So That's what we on right now. So yeah, this is the first product, White Claw. At first, I started drinking them, and then I don't know, it was weird. Like, I saw a lot of like country people drinking the shit, you know, and I stopped drinking it because I didn't want to get mixed in with them. But then I was like, man, fuck it, I'm being me. I like how it tastes. I don't give a shit who drink it. It's my drink now. So yeah, shout out to White Claw. What else we got, man? See, I got on a 47 brand hat. See this 47 brand? I had to get this camo joint. I think I got all the other Nationals hats. Now, as you guys may or may not know, I root for 4 teams, right? I have 1 team in each sport. It's the Bills, Wizards, Nationals, Sabres, right? So I pretty much have all of the 47 brand hats that came out for all my teams, you know. But this one was a new one. This one was like very different. I had to get it, you know. So shout out to 47 brand, man. They make a good hat, you know. They make a good hat. Like, you know, I like a good dad hat with the, you know, they got the curved brim, whatever. I'm not really big on the curved brim thing, because typically I wear my hats like this. You know what I'm saying? But for the sake of the show, I rock my hat like this for a little bit, you know. But then me, I like the strap that they always have. They always have a nice strap that comes off in the back, you know. And then the key thing they do on their hats is a lot of times they put the logo of the they put the logo of the team like right here. See that? So you see carefully, you can see the Nationals logo right there, which is dope. You know, that's like their own little staple. You know, it's their own wrinkle. You know. So anyways. And I got a lot of hats, man. I probably have more. You know what? That's a good poll question. Do I have greater than or less than 47 brand hats? Because I don't even know. Wow, that's a good question. I'm probably slightly under, but I could be wrong. So I'm gonna do a show one day. I'm gonna show you all my hats, because I got dad hats, fitteds, snapbacks. You know, just of my teams though, right? As a matter of fact, I used to have other hats from other teams that I bought like a long time ago, and I gave those hats away because I would do corny shit like that. You know, like I would buy like an Arizona Diamondbacks hat because it had the A on the hat, and my first name is A, so I tried to get all the A hats, like the Atlanta Braves, the Diamondbacks, what else? The Oakland A's. I don't do that. I just stick with my teams, you know. Now it's just Wizards, Bills, Nationals, Sabres. Those are my teams. Only sports hats I buy, you know. So I'm gonna do an episode where I lay my hats across my bed and we just kind of count and see how many hats I have, you know. Because when you have a bald head or when your hairline is not the best, you know, you gotta invest in hats, you know. And that's what I do, you know. I invest in my hats. So it is what it is. You know, boom, 47 brand. There you have it. Nice hat. This is a good hat, you know, because it pretty much goes with anything I throw on. You know, I can wear this with anything, you know, but whatever. So what else am I gonna plug? Oh yeah, I got my I support my other fellow comedians. So I got this Let Me Stress You Out hoodie from my man Boogie B. Real funny cat, man, out of New Orleans. You know, real funny cat, man. He got these his whole thing is go follow him on his Instagram and stuff, but he be doing the Let Me Stress You Out videos where he goes on, he's like, it's like a long roast, it's like a mini roast. And the shit is funny because one, his energy is just like hilarious, you know, and then he has that little crooked finger shit where he's like, let me stress you out a bit, and he'll do this shit, and then he'll start stressing the person in the video, and he just goes on these long-winded roast rants, and it's just a list. I don't know how he keeps his focus, man, because there's no no nothing. He just goes through word after word after word. You old Care Bear looking Star Wars Millennium Falcon shape built. See, I can't even do this shit, man. But that shit is funny when he be doing it. So anyways, I had to go out and, you know, go out and support, you know what I'm saying? So I got the Let Me Stress You Out hoodie. Get them while they hot. But yeah, so that's the I guess that's the commercial portion of my show, or that's my and these aren't paid ads, by the way. These aren't paid ads. These are just things that I like, So I promote what I like. So anyways, let me go ahead and get on with the Saywha portion of the show, where we talk about everything speech impediment related, because as you guys have or may or may not know, I grew up with a speech impediment. I still have remnants of the shit every now and again. I be having hiccups. And instead of trying to let this shit run my life, I'm going to call it out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to just own my shit. So anyways, before, if you watch previous versions of the show, I used to always check in, or like I would like tell a story, about something, or and that's cool. If I have something that I remember that I can recant, I'm gonna go ahead and bring that up. But for right now, I want to get into the philosophy of the shit. Everything's about asking questions, right? You got to dig, ask questions, and then just seek knowledge, right? So today's question for the Saywha portion of the show, which is everything speech impediment related, the question for today is, does everyone have a speech impediment to some degree? Right? Think about that shit, right? Like, a lot of people think they know what perfection is, Like, for example, for example, like a lot of us take walking for granted, right? Walking, put one foot down, left foot down, and one foot in the other. Like, we take that for granted, Now, yeah, there are some people that can't walk at all, But what is the perfect way to walk? Is that even quantifiable? Like me, I'm pigeon-toed, right? So does that mean I have some sort of a walking impediment, right? Because I might not be walking as efficiently as possible. Who knows, right? I mean, I guess there's just good enough and then not good enough, right? And society kind of moves that line, or they kind of drop the line down for, for determining what's acceptable and what's not, So since I looked at these stats, right, I think they said, what is it? It's I think it's 3 million people in the United States it's like 3 million people in the United States have a speech impediment, right? Or stutter, right? And we don't even really know how they even classify. Like, did they take a test? Was this like a survey? Like, how did they gather the number? Did they go to like a school where the school secretly took notes on who had where's the test? It's all about, quantitative analysis. Where's the data at, But they say 3 million people roughly in the United States stutter or whatever, or have a speech impediment, And my question is, like I said before, how did they come to that conclusion? How did they determine that that person had a speech impediment? Because everything in life, as I've figured out, is everything is a continuum. Like, if you look at the rainbow, yeah, you might look at, there's purple, and then there's blue, and then there's green, and all the colors in the spectrum. But if you look at the continuum, purple like fades into blue, So at some point, it's like you're gonna have a mixture of the two, or it's gonna blend in, right? You're gonna have everything in between, infinitesimal steps, So I don't know. So to me, my opinion is, I think that I think everyone has had a moment where their speech was impeded by something, right? Either they got anxious, they got happy, or they got upset, and they had like a little glitch, and some people might not have even realized that they had a glitch. Some people had it and probably were like, yo, that scared the shit out of me. Like, I never had that before, So now people may have had that happen once. The frequency may have been once on average every year. I mean, who knows, So I don't know. I'm just asking questions. What are your thoughts? You does everyone have a speech impediment to a degree? Or then how do we classify a speech impediment? Because you could say, okay, you could basically say, okay, well, people that talk too slow, that goes in the speech impediment category. Okay, how do you measure someone that speaks too fast or speaks too slow, right? Do you give them something to say and they have to say it within a certain time frame? And if they can't get to the end of that time frame, they talk too slow, and then therefore, do they have a speech impediment? It all depends on who's defining the shit. So just something to think about. But that's all I'm going to do on that topic there. But let's go ahead and get into the DFS portion of the show where we talk about everything daily fantasy sports related. I'm going to fix my head around the other way because I want to be cool right now. So let me go. Let's look at it. Come on, Dre. So now we're looking at daily fantasy sports, everything daily fantasy sport related. So last week, let's go ahead and take a look at what happened last week, right? So last week, who did I pick last? So last week would have been the 25th, right? The 25th. Okay. And then let's look at, I think last week, who was my, yeah, here we go. Let's look at who was my, yeah. So last week, I would say that my DFS woe of the week last week was, it was Clint Capella, right? Clint Capella only put up 11 fantasy points against Milwaukee last week, and that's not going to cut it. You know what I'm saying? So, especially for, how much was he? Especially for $7,800. So, it's not going to cut it. And then Trae Young only put up 22 points that game, so it is what it is. So, who do I have for this week's lineups? Who do I have? I got, okay, and they're live right now. So, the game's not over, so you're going to have this information before the end of the game. So I put Chris Middleton in my captain spot. Wow, Milwaukee's blowing Atlanta out 22-7 with no Giannis. That's crazy. So my Theobold prediction of the week, it's gonna be Clint Capella again. I think, like I said, Clint Capella gonna have one of them games where he's gonna drop 40. So he's done it pretty much in every series so far. So I'm going with him again. I got Clint Capella getting me 40 or more fantasy points. That's my Theobold prediction. Check in next week to see how that turned out. But who else do I have? I have John Collins, who has 0 points right now. I got Lou Williams, a.k.a. Lemon Pepper Lou. And I got Gallinari. So those are my people. And I did something stupid when I picked my lineups today, right? What I did was I looked at facial expressions because I have a theory, right? I have a theory, I think DraftKings be fucking with us, because I think what they do is they have multiple images of player profile pics, right? And they got a mean mug pick, they got a regular pick, and they got a cheesing pick, And I think that whenever, I think the data is tied to the facial expression of the profile that DraftKings puts out, right? So what I did was in my captain spot, I picked someone that was cheesing. So I picked Chris Middleton. Everyone else in my lineup is mean mugging, So my theory is if I just follow one player and pick one player, and I'm like, okay, this dude is always cheesing, and then one day, if I go through the profile pics and he's like, like mean mugging, I know I'm right. That you got to focus on the profile pics that DraftKings puts up. So I'm looking at faces, man. Who's cheesing, who's not? Who's mean mugging, who's not? Right? So that's all I got for that right now. like I said, I just do the 25-cent games, and I try to, I'm trying to get $75 right quick so I can double up. I don't even do the double ups. That's a waste of time, man. I'm just like, look, I'm trying to win the whole pot. So I put 25 cents in. I try to win $75 to $100 in the first, second place spot. And once I do that, then I'll start playing the dollar lineups where I can put $1 in and have a chance at going after a stack. And when I get a stack, I'll start putting up. You see how the shit builds, right? You gotta build. You just can't hop in and hope to get lucky. There's a method to this madness, right? I want y'all to understand it. There's a method to this madness. You know what I'm saying? You have to unturn every rock, right? You have to sift for every gold nugget. You know what I mean? So that's what we doing over here. But what else we got going on, man? Shit, I've been running my mouth for 20 minutes. But thank y'all for listening. Now's a good time for me, I guess, to plug, if you haven't already, go hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, go ahead and type up, jam up. Don't jam up. Go ahead and, I don't want to say Liberace, but, go ahead and Stevie Wonder the comment section. What's the word? Someone that plays piano, like someone that's known for playing piano and shit, someone with their fingers. Better yet, go ahead and Kermit the Frog the comment section, because there's that one meme with Kermit the Frog where he's just doing this typing shit. Yeah, do all that, man. I want y'all feedback. Right? What else we got going on? So now let's go ahead and get into the Sympology section of the show where we talk about everything simp related, So as y'all know, I'm seeing a young lady, getting to know a young lady, you know what I'm saying? So that simp shit kind of went out the window. It's like I said earlier, man, like when you single and in the drought, it's easy to talk that simp shit and be like, man, I ain't gonna be on that simp shit. Nah, like when we go out to eat, like I only first dates or drinks only, either tea or wine. But I ain't gonna feed no chick. I don't be feeding these broad, like all that. It's easy to talk that, but once they start laying it on you, and nigga, that shit change you up, Like the yams be turning niggas into baby food. You know what I'm saying? The yams be turning niggas into baby food, man. That's shit. That's life, man. And I had a DJ that we were talking to because we go back and forth on the simp philosophy shit, and he said basically that's what life is, right? It's basically all dudes who settle down eventually become simps. Like you have to simp at some point is the argument, Like even if you go purple pill, that's simping, I think the only way you can not be a simp is you got to be like full red pill all the way through and throughout, But anywho, at the end of the day, like speaking of pills, you know what I'm saying? So for those of y'all out there that are familiar with pill theory, basically, there are 3 pills, right? There's blue pill, purple pill, red pill, right? And blue pill just means that the dude is unaware of knowledge, or not unaware of knowledge. That's stupid. Blue pill means that the dude is basically unaware of female nature. So he thinks that, so basically if you believe in a soulmate, you blue pill, right? Because you think that there's a special chick that's carved out for you that will do like no wrong. And it's not even wrong, but see, female nature isn't wrong. It's just what they are. It's what they do. You know what I'm saying? It's like babies cry, dogs bark. That's their nature. You know what I'm saying? And women, by their nature, they do things by their nature. They do things by their nature, right? And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Cause I'm not trying to get in trouble too much because I don't want to. If you want to go and find out what female nature is, go on just YouTube the shit. Like that's not I know what it is, but I don't have to get into it right now. All you need to know is that blue pill means that is a dude who's unaware of female nature. So if you think that, so for example, right, if you think that you can be a knight in shining armor, and if you believe that your actions will, your actions and your actions alone will get you a chick and keep a chick, you blue pill, because you don't know, that chick she might change her mind one day. She might just feel different. She might just get up and be on the next train that's smoking, or be on the next train that's getting out, you know? Not train like that, because that sounded kind of fucked up. Like, she might be on the next thing out smoking, you know? Right? Not saying all women do that, but that's part of their nature, you know? Collectively speaking, not all women, but, you know, if you think that shit can't happen, you blue pill, right? Like, if you think that, oh, if I read books and cater to her needs and listen to her every worry and cater to her and provide for her and do all these things, that, you know, she'll still stick it through with me. She'll still stay with me, you know? That's blue pill, because you're unaware that she may say fuck all that, you know? A lot of times it has nothing to do with you, you know? So that's blue pill, all right? Now, in order to explain purple pill, I have to explain red pill, right? So red pill just means that you're fully aware of female nature, like you know what they're capable of. You don't understand them, but you understand what they're capable of, meaning that you know the radius, you know the radius of the destruction, right? You know how bad shit can get, right? So with that being said, all you do is just date multiple women, and you know that, you know, there's gonna be a time when she gets tired of you, and then she's gonna move on to somebody else. So that's why people that are red pill, they date multiple chicks, you know. Now, how they go about saying that they date multiple chicks or what they do, that's a whole nother story, you know. But just all you need to know for the definition is red pill means that dudes are fully aware of nature. They're fully aware of female nature, and they just date multiple women. All right. So purple pill is a hybrid of the two, right? Purple pill is when the dude is aware of female nature, but he just sticks with one chick, you know, because he's tired of dating, or he has more important things to do than to go out and just date multiple women, you know? So, but he's fully aware of, you know, of the nature of a woman, you know, and what can happen. So upon further review, like, you know, and I think I always kind of knew this, but I was trying to fool myself. But, I think end of the day, I'm pretty much purple pill, you know? Like, I've never been a multiple chick dude, you know? I've never been a multiple chick dude. I never, like, that shit scares me, yo. Like, dealing with multiple women, because, like, I don't know. That should just it'd be scaring me, because it's like, I guess I believe in karma too much, you know. I believe in, like, what goes around comes around, you know. And if you doing dirt, you know, the question is, how much can you take your own dirt, or can you eat your own shit, you know? And I don't like to taste this. Well, I never tasted shit, but I don't know. It's just, I'm not gonna put that out there and have it come back to me and be like, damn, that's my fault, you know. I guess what it boils down to is, I guess what it boils down to is, I don't want to be accountable, right? Or if I do dirt, I don't want to be accountable for my dirt. Therefore, I don't do it. That's simple. You know what I mean? But I'm afraid. Like, here's the thing, right? I'm not afraid of a chick, like, you know, whooping my ass or like keying up my shit or fucking up my shit. Like, I'm not. Well, kind of worried about that shit, but really, it's more of like I guess I'm afraid of, like, the musical chairs joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never want to be in a situation where, you know, you got it good with, like, a chick or two or three, and all of a sudden, you know, they know that you out double dipping, triple dipping and shit, you know, and then all of a sudden they just go to someone else in their rotation at the same time. And then when you really want it from one of those chicks and they're not around, it's like, it's a lonely feeling. You know what I'm saying? And I guess I'm afraid of that feeling, you know? And it's different from being in a drought, because when you're in a drought, it's like you have no concept of like it's like you have less of a concept of being with a chick, you know? Like nothing from nothing leave nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I done been in 2-year droughts, 3-year droughts. I done been in long droughts, you know? And yeah, it's frustrating because when you're in a drought, it's like, damn, you don't got nothing to go kick it with. You can't lay up, nothing like that. But it's like, man, it's like weird. It's like weird. It's like I'm in my own little peace of mind where, you know, I don't have to really worry about who's knocking who down, because I ain't knocking nobody down. Like, and I haven't been knocking anybody down, so I'm not worried about it. But it's like, you know, let me give you one example, right? So when I was in Iowa, I was dating this chick or whatever, and I wasn't doing no dirt. Like, I was just out. When I say I'm hanging with my boys, I'm out with my boys, you know. Or I might not tell you exactly what I'm doing, but I'm not out digging down to other chick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not how I get down, you know. That's just not part of me. You know what I'm saying? But I remember one night, it was like a snowstorm when I was coming back, and I was trying to get to this chick house because it was a bad snowstorm outside. I had like another like 10 miles to get to my house, but I could have just got off on her exit, and I could have just went to her spot and then laid up, you know? So it's like maybe like 1 a.m. and I'm calling her phone. I'm like, yo, where's this chick at? Like, I know she's up, you know, where's she at? You know, right, simp shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm calling her up, and I just can't get a hold of her, you know? So then, she told me one story the next day about what happened, and some shit about her phone not being charged, or some shit about, I forgot what it was. Then somehow things kept coming back to that night, and her story kept changing. And then come to find out, man, she went out, found another dude, brought her back to her place, let the nigga beat, and then dropped him back home. You know what I'm saying? And I'm up in the snowstorm, and I'm up here claiming this chick in the streets. You know what I mean? So, like, that's like when you, it all deals with like the recency. It's not even a word, but it's all about how recent are you off the yams, right? Like, if you get, like, if you recently been in some yams, and then the shit just gets snatched, and then you can't get access to it, you know, or can't get access to them, it's like, that's a messed up feeling, you know? But if you like have gotten weaned off of the yams, right, and you go on a drought, yeah, you know, like all the other chicks I used to date, I know, like, I be going, like, I've actually had this thought before, right? I've had this thought where when I was in a drought for like 2 or 3 years, I've had this thought where I thought about all the chicks I used to like deal with, and I used to think there's a good chance that they probably getting piped down right now, you know? But I wasn't like mad about it because I was weaned off of the yams, you know? But you don't want to be in a situation where you're like fresh on a yam, and then all of a sudden you just is cut off, and then you're like, oh shit, what's happening? Shit, fuck. Like, that's a fucked up feeling, you know? But the thing is this though, right? Like, if you are dealing with like multiple yams, and you jumping around from multiple yams or whatever at a time, and if all the yams cut you off simultaneously, I think that would hurt worse, because like, you know that you deserve what you get, right? It's just, hey, that's the way the cookie crumble. Like, if you do, like, look, if you choose to play musical chairs, you're gonna get left out, and it's gonna be in your face when you get left out. So that's that, man. You know, what else was I gonna talk about? The purple pill stuff. But nah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that kind of, like, you know, that's what I be thinking about, you know. And plus too, like, I don't know, like, I'm just too focused on my purpose to really be trying to like play the multiple chick game. You know, like a lot of I know dudes that I know dudes that be dealing with multiple chicks at the same time. You know, like they be juggling chicks. You know, but a lot of chicks that I know, a lot of dudes that I know who be juggling chicks, like they don't really be focused on their purpose, you know, and what they're trying to do in life, you know. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a dating coach. All I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to be successful, you know. I'm trying to be successful, and I'm trying to rid myself of a 9-to-5. I'm trying to be free. Real simple. Real talk. Anywho, what else we got going on? But yeah, so I think I covered that topic enough, you know. If you guys agree or disagree, you know, make sure you Kermit the Frog the comment section. I want to hear your thoughts, you know. Do you agree, disagree? Do you want to know more? Holla at me. Talk to me. But now, what else we got going on, man? Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the comedy bump portion of the show, where we talk about, you know, our trials and tribulations in comedy. You know, so every episode I talk about a trial and tribulation with comedy. You know, and like I said, it's been a real bumpy road for me. Like, nigga, this shit has been bumpy than a motherfucker. You know, there's been some rays of sunshine, but man, it's been a lot of bumps. Like, I think I could easily do 100 episodes with a new comedy bump, you know? So in last week's episode, I talked about a comedy bump. I think the key word or the hint that I gave was empty stage, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get into empty stage right now, right? So here's what happened, right? There was a big name comedian that was coming to Iowa, right? I lived in Cedar Rapids. There was a big name comedian that was in town or coming to town. And the way it worked in Cedar Rapids is you had it was kind of like segregated almost, right? Where it was like you had a comedy club, right, that booked mainly white acts. They had maybe a few black acts in there, but maybe like one. They basically catered to the demographic of Cedar Rapids, right? And then you had like the barbershops and like the hair salons, right, that were owned by black people, and they would book like the bigger black name comedians, and they would go rent out a venue, or they would go rent out a ballroom or something, or a hotel room, and they would book this comic or whatever, and it would be a dope show, right? So I was kind of in both worlds, you know, because I was the host of my home comedy club. I made it to be the MC of the home comedy club, but at the same token, I also rocked with the barbershop shows or the black shows, you know. And it would have been dope if both sides came together and booked more diverse shows, because I think they could then reach out and get the people from Davenport or get the people from Des Moines, you know, or get people from Ames to come drive through, you know. But that's neither here nor there. That's not my problem. I'm not there anymore. But anywho, there was a comedian, big name comedian, very funny comedian, that came into town, and he was booked through, you know, the black comedy circuit, and they rented this room out in the Five Seasons or the Seasons Hotel. It was the biggest hotel in Cedar Rapids, right? So this is big ballroom, and pretty much all the blacks in Cedar Rapids came out to the joint, and there's black people in Cedar Rapids, you know, Des Moines, Davenport, they all came out. It was packed, right? So at this point, I think I've been doing comedy for like, I've been doing comedy consistently for like a year and a half, you know, and doing comedy for about a year and a half. I think I had my Transformer bit. That's all I had. I had that Transformer joke. That's all a nigga had. And I had other but that's the only joke I really had. But I had other things I was working on at the time. I didn't know I would have a library or a repertoire full of everything that I have now, because I have a lot more material now. But anywho, there was a DJ that spun at this Tuesday night mic that I went to on Tuesday. It was this one mic. It was called Cocktails, and cocktail. If you lived in Cedar Rapids between 2008 and like 2012, you know all about Cocktails. Cocktails was it was an acquired taste, right? Like Cocktails was. I remember the first night I found out about Cocktails. Two comedians didn't want to tell me about it because it was a new mic, and I found it anyway because when it comes to these mics, I got my ears to the streets. Like I'm here to put in this work. So, anyways, I found the mic, and it's a bar room, and if you know anything about comedy or doing like stand up, the best place to do it. Right, there's no absolute best, but for the most part, I would think most comics would agree with me. But the best place to do comedy is in a dark room that's low, flat, and wide. Right? That's, oh wow. Scared the hell out of me. Oh, I set the wrong alarm. Let me go ahead and cut this off, make sure this is off. Let me go cut all my alarms off. There we go. Yeah, so now the best way to the best room to perform comedy in, I would think that most comics would agree to is the room. The optimal conditions are a low, flat, dark, wide room, right, with good sound, right? Because you want the walls to be like you don't want to feel like you have to reach out way into the back of the room, and you don't want it to be narrow, right? So, anyways, Cocktails was opposite of all that shit. All the dimensions were opposite. It was narrow, it was escalated, had a high ceiling, and not to mention they had games next to the stage, right? Like they had a dart board next to the stage. They had an arcade game next to the stage. So you'd be on stage doing your jokes, and people would be up there playing darts and shit, and you'd be mid joke, and they just look at you. And they'd be like, man, that's not funny, nigga. And they they wouldn't say nigga because a lot of them couldn't say it, but you get the point, right? Like basically, they would be up there playing games and playing arcade games, and then looking at your set, and then they get back to playing video games or whatever, right? Like that's how it was. So it was a real tough room. I mean, I had fun nights in there, but it was a tough room, man. Like that's kind of where I got some of my battle scars from, where it's like, when you perform in those elements, you kind of know what type of material you can do in that room. Hey, how do I get this person's attention? Or you kind of know if the show's been running this long, the audience is going to be restless, right? But it's one of those things where, anyways, the DJ that spun there, because he basically was working with the host to, get the crowd up or whatever and stuff, or to get things going. Come on, Dre. But anywho, he was DJ, so he DJ'd the big show at the hotel with the big name comedian. And like I said, I don't name drop people like that because I don't want I don't know. It's just I like things to I think the less said the better. But anyways, basically what happened was there was some sort of disagreement between somebody, like the comic didn't like something, or the headliner didn't like how something was being ran, or he didn't like, it was something weird going on, right? Because the show was supposed to start at 8 and it's like 9 o'clock, or it's like pushing 9 o'clock, and they're just like, yo, so-and-so won't come down from his room. He won't come down. Audience is getting antsy. He's not coming down, yada, yada, yada. So the DJ who was spinning on the stage that I knew from Cocktails, he came up to me and was like, yo, Dre. He's like, yo, so-and-so's not coming down. The stage is yours. And I remember I looked at that stage, and I had some of my friends with me too, right? Or some people that I had some friends with me that were there, and they were like, yo, Dre, this is your opportunity, man. Dre, go do it, man. Go up there, man. And I was like, man, I looked around the audience, and I never said no, but I never got up. You know, I just like stared at the stage. I just stared at the stage the whole time. You know, that haunts me to this day. You know, like a matter of fact, I took a picture of that. I gotta find it, but I took a picture of that stage. It's just an empty stage with a DJ booth up there and the mic stand, and there's like 200 people in the audience, like ready to rock, you know. And it was like every muscle in my body just sat me down. It was like, nah, nigga, you ain't moving. And I felt a lot of anxiety from that day, or I wouldn't say anxiety, but I just felt uncomfortable from that day moving forward. Like it was a bad feeling because I felt like, you know, it's always like, well, shit, if you got up there and bombed, you would have got it out the way, right? And if you bombed, like maybe things would have happened faster. Maybe things would have happened faster for me in my career, you know? Or maybe I would have went up there and rocked that shit and then made a contact with the comment coming with the headliner. Maybe the headliner would have walked in on my set and then would have been happy that I did some of his time because he didn't want to do his full hour, you know? And then maybe we would have made a connection and maybe, you know, I'll be further along, you know? But that doesn't haunt me to this day. Like I don't, well, it's weird. Like I remember the feeling and the feeling wasn't a good feeling. So I remember the feeling to this day, but I'm not afraid of that anymore. You know, with where I'm at now and what I've accomplished and where I've been, if I go back in that situation, I'm like, oh, where? Oh, where? Nigga, you don't even gotta, I'm just gonna run up on the stage and grab the mic. Joke one, here we go. And I'm just going through my set, you know? So, but I think a lot of it too was I wasn't in a supportive like circle, right? Like when I say a supportive circle, I don't mean, because when you go to a big city, like if you're like in New York or if you're in Cali or whatever, right? Like typically, come on, Dre. So typically what happens is, you know, like comedians run in packs, you know, and when you run in a pack or whatever, it's like everyone is uplifting everybody else. So it's like you're competing with each other, but it's like you're on the same team, you know. It's like, oh, so-and-so booked this? Oh, shit. Well, if he booked that, then fuck, I got to be ready for this. So it'd have been one of those things where it was like, yo, if I was in a comedy circle like that where people were pushing each other, I would have been hopped on that stage. I'd have been like, oh, easy peasy, you know? But it was like, I wasn't in a circle like that. It was kind of like I was on an island by myself, you know? And, you know, and my body was like, nah. So, and I think too, it was like, I didn't have, like, I wasn't, you know, I didn't, I think, no, it was too. I think it was like after I bombed too, that one time I froze up on stage. So that was in the back of my mind. If I didn't have that freeze up, I probably would have been more apropos to, I'm not sure if I used that word right in the right sentence or whatever, but we gonna figure it out. I'm not gonna look it up though, but you feel me, because we vibing, you know. But I think I would have been more, I think if I didn't bomb or didn't freeze up that one time, I would have probably found my way on that stage, you know, and did whatever, you know. But when you bomb the way I bombed, like a few months prior, that shit'll like make you think, you know. But that's what life's about, you know. It's about, you know, not how many times you fall down, it's about how many times you get up. You know, and I've been knocked down many times in this comedy game. I mean, on stage and off stage. I've had people like shoot my dreams down, tell me I ain't funny. I've had people tell me I can't do their show. I got white people jokes. Nigga, you corny. You ain't fun. Like, I heard all that shit. So nothing can break me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can break me. Nobody can break me but me. You know what I mean? But that situation made me stronger, you know, by being called out and not answering the call, you know. That did something to me where I was like, you know, it wasn't like I went under a rock and I hid. It was like, okay, nah, we didn't answer the call. We were afraid, we were scared for whatever reason. But we gonna work to not be afraid next time. You know, that was my mindset. It was, that bullshit happened before, but that can't happen again. You know, if somebody calls me out, I gotta go on that stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get called out and someone puts the mic in my hand, I gotta go rip. You know what I mean? So that's what kind of like, and you know what's funny too? I think after that moment is when I started having a little anxiety or being stressed out about going to comedy shows, because I knew that with me being a comedian, I know that when you go to a comedy show, you always got to be ready, because when you go, it doesn't matter if it's a show or mic or whatever. They're like, yo, here's a mic, nigga, go. I got to go, you know? So that's why I think a lot of times I kind of got, I guess, like a little stressed out going to comedy shows, because it's like I got to make sure I got my set list in my head. Joke 1, joke 2, joke 3, you know? And sometimes you just got to be ready to keep going, because you might be killing it and they might just be like, man, keep going. Keep going. Keep going, right? Like that exercise that Bruce J had us do, right? We had one comedian, R.I.P. Bruce J, you know, Bruce Yuntala. Big older white dude, but man, he had a friend that had a taco shop, and his friend wanted to add comedy, and he would bring his amp and his mic over, and we would get up and do an hour just talking to the mic. Keep going. What else? There's more. Keep going. What else? Right? So that's why I think, you know, I'm happy for that comedy bump, because it put me in a mindset of, if you go somewhere where there's a mic and a comedy show and someone calls you out, you got to go up, because no one knows who you are. Like, you're not, like, until you're a name, you're a type, you know? And I look like a typical comic, I guess. But nah, you got to always be ready, right? That was the message from that night, or that was the lesson that was learned from that bump, is always be ready. Like, when you go to this club, or you go to this club, you go to this show, you don't know who's going to be there. You might see a friend, you might know someone that you went to school with that knows you, or someone that follows you on Instagram, and they might be like, yo, I think Dre's a comic, Dre's funny, Dre can get up there. Yo, Dre, you want to do some time? And you can't be like, nah. So, like, for example, I went to Laugh Factory. I went to Chocolate Sundays last weekend, and I went a little late. Because typically, like, I go like a little late or whatever. Like, I'll go in just to see what the comics are doing. You know, I go peeping on the show to kind of see what people are laughing at. You know, I want to go see what the comics are talking about and stuff. And I came a little late. And my and a friend of mine who is one of the hosts on the shows, he was like, dude, you missed it. Yo, we had 2 first impressions people drop out, and so-and-so was like, yo, do you want to go up? And I was like, man, where's Dre? Right? So I was like, if they would have been like, go up, I would have been ready, because I've been putting in the work. You know, I've been going to the mics, working out this material. I know what jokes I can and can't do, you know, and I know I know me, you know, and that's how I treat these open mics, right? Like, it's easy to go to an open mic and to go fuck around, you know, but I don't fuck around at open mics, you know. Like, when I go to a mic, I know what jokes I'm working on. I know what I want to get out of this mic, and I know, like, the mindset when I go into the mic. I know the mindset I want to have when I go into this, you know, mic, right? Right? Like, so it's like, so basically it's like I'm trying to build up the pressure of actually being put on the spot. So when I get up there, it's just go, you know? So I know, like, my number's gonna get called soon, you know? And this all goes back to football, back when I was, like, trying to walk on to my football team in college, you know? Another powerful lesson that I learned, you know? When I tried to walk onto the football team, you know, spring workouts, I was always the first one to practice. I was always the first one in the film room. I studied the plays. I was the first in every drill. You know, I was putting up my weight. I was eating right. You know, I was doing everything I could. But then when it came time to put pads on, I was sitting on the sidelines. I was in the sideline in the rain, in the sleet. I was doing all this shit. In my mind at that time, I was like, I'm doing all this work just to sit on the sideline in the snow, in the sleet, in the rain, in the heat, you know? And I was frustrated. All I could think about is, why am I not on that field? Why am I not on that field? When is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be my turn? That's all. Those were the only thoughts I had in my head. When am I next? When is it going to be my turn? When am I going to get my opportunity? You know? And I'll call my mom crying on the phone. Yo, Mom, I done put in all this work and practice. I done lifted all these damn weights. I done ate all this shit. You know? I've been getting up at like 5 a.m., breaking my neck in spring workouts. I've been doing all this shit just to sit on the sidelines. And then I had this one opportunity. I had this one chance. Right? Like, you don't know how big your window of opportunity is going to be. Like, you don't know. You may have a big ass window that you can go back and forth and come and get like 20 opportunities, right? Or you may have a little needle level window that your ass got to fit through. You can only fit through one time, because once you go through, it's going to shut. So that opportunity came. All the receivers were fucking up this one play. They didn't know the play, right? But I knew the play on the film, and I knew it like per the book. But the whole time I was brooding on the sideline about not getting in and crying and shit about not getting into a play. I should have been asking questions. I should have been focused on the receivers that were in my spot on the field. You know, how are they lining up? Can I hear the play that the quarterback is calling? Right? How fast is he calling the play? Would I be able to decipher the play that quick? You know, what is the receiver seeing when he lines up on the field? How do things look from his perspective? You know, like, those were things I should have been asking the whole time. But instead, I was just focused on getting on the field. So I got on the field, and they called a play, and it sounded like they were speaking German, because that shit was fast. They called that shit, and I was like, huh? She said, you just go over here, line up over there. And I lined up, and I said, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing in this play. So if I just get out there and do the hokey pokey a little bit and just kind of blend in, you know, I can get back in the huddle and I can be extra focused this time. And there was no next time, right? The offensive coordinator was like, Andre, get the fuck off the field. And that was my opportunity. And after that, I got cut. You know what I'm saying? So same thing with this comedy shit, you know? It's like, I see a lot of comics that are just, man, when is it going to be my turn to get on stage? When am I next? Man, what about me? When is it going to be my turn? What about me? What about me? When is it going to be my turn? They just sit there and you can see they getting mad, but it's like, they don't know that, nigga, you going to get your opportunity. You going to get that shot. you will get that shot. And when you get that shot, you better be ready for that motherfucker, yo, because if not, that's your ass. So that's why I'm grateful for the opportunity, or the situation where that headlining comic in Iowa didn't come down, and I had the opportunity to go on stage, and I froze up because I knew I had work to do. You know, like, when you hear your name called or your number gets called, like, every cell in your body has to be in accord. Like, your brain, blood, bones, thought, everything has to be like, oh, it's time to go. We got to go. Yep, my turn. Or it's to be, hey, let's go get it. You know? So even though that was a bump, I found a way to make it a positive, you know, because that's what life's about, you know? Like, you're not going to get every hand that you want to get in life, but you got to make the most of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the comedy bump story for today. What do we have coming up next? So up next, July 11th, I will be at the Good Night. It's a bar in Northern Hollywood. I'll be performing with a bunch of other funny comedians. So that's going to be a fun night. And then what else? I'm just doing open mics for right now, building more material, you know, and excuse me. If you haven't already added me, AT is where it's at on all forms of social media. Follow me. Like I said before, if you haven't done already, like this video, give it a thumbs up. You know, I keep messing with my nose, man. So I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not gonna say this on here because I don't want to incriminate myself unintentionally, right? I don't, whatever. Yeah, go ahead and like this video, give it a thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and subscribe, tell a friend. Kermit the Frog, the comment section. And with all that being said, man, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Trippin' with Theobold. And I'm out of here. Peace.